The Mitsubishi Challenge, proudly brought to you by Chicken Treat. I've got the taste. Coca-Cola, always jammin', always Coca-Cola. Ian Dippin, World of Tires. McDonald's, where it's Mac time. And Mitsubishi, please consider.
Here we go.
Isn't there some talent out there, if you don't mind? This basketball scrap at the Derwin Entertainment Centre. We've got newcomers on deck too. Lichty, is that the correct pronunciation, Wayne? Help me.
Lichty. Lichty.
Eddie Crouch, Alan Godden, Tony Webb in control. And a big crowd too. That's what we like to see.
Be a lot of emotion in this game tonight, Peter. Very physical contest in Perth when the Devils scored a major win.
Stiff. There's Smith.
Nice steal from Darren Smith.
Scott calls for it. Noisy DEC. Busy place. Activity there. Crowd restless early in the game. All players keen to be back in full motion after the Olympic break. Scott, guarded closely by Grace. Roberts on the baseline.
Travel. We see Peter Hansen, the new addition to the Wildcats lineup, a member, as we said, in the opener of their 1991 championship season, and he will be banging and bumping and bruising with big Jonathan Roberts all night tonight.
He's a big man, isn't he? That's Trahere, quality youngster, working through the ranks. Out there guarding Nash, on the floor for James Crawford. Ricky Grace, slippery as you like, dishes off. Jansen on the turn. Almost a second effort. Here goes Scott. Smith's there.
Good decision from Jerome Scott to slow it up.
Don't get a lot of time to make those calls either. A lot of bullocking going on in the paint. Nash. Shot clock to 10 seconds. Stiff screens. Smith on the run. Off his boot.
We see early, Peter, the Devils really conscious of pumping the ball inside against this big wall of Perth.
11 wins, 5 losses, Perth.
Just as I say that, J.R. Roberts goes outside.
First score of the game is a huge bomb in the noisy den. Hansen.
That's slack defense from Hobart, allowing the player to cut through the middle of the zone and nice little spin move inside.
Lichty making the two. It's 3-2. Early moments of this first period. Scott for movement.
Nice shot. Nothing Lichty could do on that jump shot. Moved the feet well, and Scott made a great pull-up jumper. Nice pass.
Smith gets hold of it. Scott the ball carrier. 5-2. Devils out by 3. Nash and Scott work together. Jansen, full of movement. Here's Scott for 3. Kept in. Stiff almost gave it to Roberts. Crawford was too quick. Trahere.
Perth with a 3-on-2 now. Trahere, one of the premier three-point shooters in the NBL.
Smith gives the ref Eddie Crouch a wry grin. Everybody tries to talk the ref into telling which way the ball ticked out. On that occasion, it's Perth. Billy Tomlinson watches from the sidelines. Grace to Trahere. 5-2. Devils lead by 3. Crawford guarded by Roberts. Trahere back outside the three-point line. Grace.
Oh, 37 years old, and he still has the hops. Nice drive from Ricky Grace. Devils really needed some help on that drive. Didn't get it and paid the price as JC snuck inside for a great offensive rebound.
Here's Scott. Scott and Grace will go toe-to-toe all night.
There we go.
Jumping Jimmy, look
the slammer. Look out. Oh, my.
Hangs off the basket, thank you. And that's a technical foul. You can't do that, James.
And James says, what's the deal, Holmes? Amazing athleticism. Not often we see Big JC get a breakaway. He's usually slam dunking over someone in traffic.
His eyes lit up then, didn't they?
He would have to be probably pound for pound the best athlete I've seen play in this competition in its 17-year history.
Roberts with the ball. 6-6, 8.5 to go, first period.
This man's had a great season, Jonathan Roberts.
Target. Chewing gum. Righto, let's go.
Let's go is the call from the ref. Roberts makes them both. A decent sort of a shove and a hoof, and Crawford's been spoken to, so it hasn't been a memorable 60 seconds for James Crawford.
Call JC for a push on the rebound.
Keep involved, the call from the sidelines. Adrian Hurley, former Boomers coach. In the foreground, Roberts puts it up for Stiff. Out to Nash, should hit it.
Nice offensive rebound.
Who's hungry for it? Lichty almost turned it over. Thup, Scott and
Good
Jansen.
hustle. Great hustle, Jerome Scott and Pete Hansen. And the 10-second buzzer's gone. You see it up on the 30-second clock. 19 seconds and Hobart ball.
Only get 10 to take it from one half of the court to the other.
Yeah.
Don't see that call often, Wayne. Doesn't
You
happen
don't see
very
it at
often.
all. It's amazing. Adrian Hurley, Perth coach, still questioning the call. And Peter, we see with a team like Perth, the clash just elevates in terms of their defensive intensity and the way they play team defense, helping, as we see the double on JR inside, helping players out defensively. See
Quality's what it's all about.
That's right. Grace gets beaten and they get help from another player, and that's the extra class that a program like Perth add to their attack and their defense. Stiffy for free.
Grace on the run.
Nice pass. Look out. Geez, he wanted to slam that as well. He just got a little hick in the dribble. Otherwise, he would have probably took off from the dotted line inside the paint.
8-6. 2 points the difference. Wildcats lead by that margin. Good scrap too. One gets the feeling with so much quality, it's going to be a good one tonight. Devils ball.
And we see every time the Devils get the ball inside, they'll be double teamed, forcing the pass outside. Perth is saying, okay, beat us from the perimeter. We'll shut down the offensive game inside from Jonathan Roberts and David Stiff.
Smith gets the Stiff. Smith hacked from behind. Call on Pete Hansen. How good is this team with two Australians on the bench? I know they've been battered around in an arduous campaign on the other side of the world. But when you see Andrew Vlahoff and Scott Fisher, who are both now about to come on,
yeah, here come the Boomers.
The depth in Perth
really is phenomenal. I mean, there we see the steal from Licky. Great defensive anticipation in the lane and a two-handed layup, protects it well. Great layup. And the foul as well. Perth assistant coach Mike Ellis told me Licky's a lot like the Magic's Mike Kelly. Great all-around player, fills the gaps for them offensively and defensively. And we see the subs now with Hansen
One shot only, guys.
leaving and Vlaha and Fisher returning. And
a deep bench.
Crawford sits down. It's amazing, isn't it?
Licky gets it. 11-6 the score. 7 minutes of play remaining first half period. And a good solid start by a very classy outfit. Wildcats won it last year. 11 wins, 5 losses this year so far. Roberts rifles the pass in,
Nice
back underneath,
pass.
makes 2.
Great pass, great court vision. And Mark Nash, nice little quick hands, kept his hands up above his head and didn't even bring it down. Once he got it, it was released, nice and soft.
Licky puts it on the floor. Scotty Fisher! Good reject there. Devils tip it out. Only as far as Grace. Fisher. Trahere for 3.
Geez, the Devils missed a defensive assignment there. There was no one within 10 feet of Aaron Trahere. He'll get 40 if he gets that kind of room. Look at that. Where's the Devils defensive player? Out to lunch with lunch meat.
And whilst that shot was in motion, ref calling a game delay warning against the Wildcats.
Ooh, and Scott
there's a backcourt
over
violation.
the half-court line. That was unfortunate.
Just in the front now.
A lot of times those sponsor stickers on the floor can create havoc in terms of moisture getting on the floor, and we see players slipping left, right, and center sometimes.
And also, it's hard to see exactly where the line is there. Not making excuses, but that is exactly what happened there with Vlahoff having the ball for the Wildcats. Trahere outside the three-point line, inside to Fisher. Roberts guards. Lichty cuts the key, spins, puts up, and makes the 2 points.
Ooh.
Time out.
Mark Nash trailing Lichty on the... We see Mark Nash there, nowhere to be found as Lichty darts through the middle in the beautiful fadeaway.
6 minutes to go in the first period. Good start to the Wildcats, who lead the Devils 16 points to 8.
He was born in an obscure village, the child of a peasant woman. He grew up in still another village, where he worked in a carpenter shop until he was 30. Then for 3 years, he was an itinerant preacher. He never wrote a book or held office or owned a home or went to university or did any of the things that usually accompany greatness. He was only 33 when public opinion turned against him and his friends ran away. He went through a mockery of a trial and was nailed to a cross between 2 thieves. And when he was dead, he was laid in a borrowed grave. 3 days later, he rose from the dead. And 19 centuries have come and gone, but it's true to say that all the armies that ever marched, and all the parliaments that ever sat, and all the kings that ever reigned, put together, have not affected life upon this earth as much as this one solitary life, Jesus Christ.
If you would like a copy of this poster, please ring the Christian Television Association on 22111732 or write to Level 1, 10 Pier Street, Perth, 6000.
Come on, let's go.
Let's go, guys.
Yeah, Billy's saying the only reason why Perth are up because of their transition basket. He wants David Stiff and Jonathan Roberts high-low, and that is one of those players at the foul line and the other one down in the block, rather than both of them at the block and exchanging. Defensively, much more talking communication by the entire team out there.
Anthony Stewart on court.
Hands out of there.
Now, there's been an alteration to the score. It is 9-16 as Smith gets blocked as he charged home to try and put up the 2-point attempt. Grace on the way to Stewart. Can't make it all over the top. Lichty.
He's got
He
some
jumped.
pop. I see why he's got NBA experience now.
18-9. 9 points the difference.
Quality player, Todd Lichty.
Grace on Scott. Roberts wanted it. Fisher guarding closely. Smith away from Stewart. Now Scott. Shot clock under 10 seconds. 9 the difference. Scott on the drive.
Crossover. That was absolutely delicious. Geez, he left Ricky back in the Kimberley somewhere. That was a beautiful move.
Here's Fisher. Almost lost it to Scott. Roberts out guarding. Grace. In he goes. Good steal by Roberts. Puts it on the floor. Hangs onto it, yes. Smith over half court. 7 the difference. 5 minutes of play remaining first period. Wildcats out by that margin. Now Scott, now Nash. Lichty eyeballing. Roberts on the spin.
Nice fade.
Who's got the hands? Oh, Vlahoff, unfortunately for the Wildcats. It just skidded off his fingers out of Port Devils' ball. Andrew Vlahoff, fresh from an Olympic campaign. The Australian Boomers can be so proud of their performance in all confrontations. Finishing 4th. Vlahoff and Fisher, the 2 Boomers, playing for the Wildcats, back to the real world. Scott with 20 seconds on the shot clock. Brendan just on. Stewart got too close.
Yeah, Timmy Brenton and Anthony Stewart doing the tango once again. And Stewie with body. Perth defensive intensity is absolutely amazing. Really denying the passing lanes, forcing Hobart to backdoor and continuously get motion on offense.
Scott and Roberts work together. Stiff, pushed and shoved. Vlahoff out there guarding. Stiff now, here we go!
Look out! Oh my. Geez, he was up above the square ready to throw that down.
His eyes lit up. It looked as if all of a sudden the traffic had parted and he saw a gap.
There's a Red Sea. He lost the 10 commandments.
4 minutes to go. First period. Lichty with possession. Stewart, former Devil, gets some space.
That's
Takes
too
it off the
easy.
glass.
Devils defense breakdown there. Should have got help inside the paint. No player should be allowed to drive into the keyway like that and get an uncontested short little jump shot.
Some unimaginative booing for Anthony Stewart from the crowd.
That's a
Brent
move.
gets through.
Beautiful. That's a highlight package right there. Tremendous spin from Timmy. Finishing with the left. It's gorgeous.
Grace comes off. Trahere goes back on. 7 points the difference. Good crowd here too tonight. People will go anywhere if they're going to see quality. Support Devils, yes, but also have a look at some very smart customers from way out Perth country. Trahere back to Fisher, who backs off. Lichty. Now Stewart on the floor for Vlahoff. Has to get around stiff, tries to.
Nice
Pass to
move.
Trahere.
Offensive foul.
Offensive
Pushing
foul
off.
called. No bucket.
You just turn straight into it like that. Take no score. 21, block.
Can't do that. What do you reckon?
Couldn't really see it there on the screen.
Here we go.
Andrew wasn't very happy. Still the call remains. We see inside, though, the Devils really don't get that double team when Perth players get the ball in the block. And I think as the game goes on, they're really going to have to... Scott, that was too easy. Gee. The defense from both teams, not very effective. Lots of easy buckets so far.
Stewart went for it, missed it. Scott got it, lost it, tipped out by Fisher. Devils ball.
You see a lot of players getting a lot of easy, uncontested drives now.
A momentary hush. Floor wipers in action. Scott carries it over halfway. 5 points the difference into the last 3 minutes of the first period. There's Scott.
Another drive, beautiful move.
Oh, almost got his own rebound. Takes it off Fisher. No, he doesn't. Fisher! Settle! Settle!
And the bows fly. I told you this would be an emotional encounter. JR wants some of Tom Hanks. We called Fisher Tom Hanks on steroids last year.
You did. Leave me out of it.
My mama always said life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you go get.
Well, I'll tell you what, Roberts was fairly keen to get in there and say, I'm a protector. You be careful. Lichty, seen plenty of the ball in this first period. There's Vlahoff, 5 the difference. Now Trahere. Scott's pushing.
I can do that Tom Hanks imitation a lot better, Peter.
Oh, can you?
It's a nasal thing. My Baba always said life was like a box of chocolate. There's Billy Tomlinson, really concerned with the defensive effort of his team, and you see his premier defensive player about to check in now in Darren Smith.
Smith to make his presence felt. 2.5 to go.
My mama always said life was like a bunch of Fritos. You never know when you go shoot a brick.
You've been working on that all week, haven't you? Or maybe all year. Trahere. Finds Stewart. Lichty.
Nice pump fake.
Now Trahere, open spaces. That was huge. So was that rebound from Roberts.
He was up on that board.
Who's going to take him on?
Smart decision from Jerome Scott. Perth had numbers back.
Smith just on. Scott gets some screening from Roberts.
Travel. Too big of a pump fake. He put a pump fake so big he nearly faked himself.
Jerome, let's settle down the reaction.
Call from the ref is, come on, settle, settle. 5 the difference, 2 minutes to go, first period. The Derwent Entertainment Centre, Friday night, a cold one. Snow on the top of Mount Wellington, but it's heated in this DEC. And it's getting a little warm. Crawford back on in front of Stiff. Stewart bounce pass. Vlahoff runs into Roberts. Off balance, throws it out of court.
Nice help defense. Vlahoff frustrated. Stewie had Crawford inside, didn't want to go to him.
Former Boomers coach Adrian Hurley on his feet. Knows this is toughy to win. Lichty's too close.
Pointing, block, leg.
I really like to look at this Todd Lichty. Quality player, great athlete, fundamentally sound.
Pete Jansen comes on.
Beef for beef.
Should tell you too that Jansen, number 40, his father has flown all the way from San Francisco to watch his son play one game of basketball.
It's amazing.
Is it what? As Roberts goes off. There's Jansen, number 40, and that's Smith, number 40 for the Devils.
The Devils are going to need someone to step up offensively tonight. I don't think they can rely on David Stiff and Jonathan Roberts posting a winning total for the side.
Disappointment for Smith.
Great offensive.
That
was fantastic. Nice follow-up from Smitty. Poor block out from Perth.
3 the difference into the last minute and a half of this first period. Lichty, now Trahere. It's 20-17. Stewart, Adams, number 7, the fresh player on court for the Devils. He's in the paint, mighty Crawford, who has the ball and lost it to Scott.
Good hands.
Scott, very neat, very slick.
He's got numbers
control.
there.
Brenton sets up for 3. Whack. Jansen had his hair cut from a chop from behind from Smith. Lichty. Neat Stewart. Crawford, yes.
Nice pass. And Lichty, beautiful penetration to create that. Such an athletic player.
5 the difference. The athleticism knows no bounds. Both sides oozing talent, perhaps Perth, with a couple of fresh faces in their side, become even more potent. Into the last 30 seconds of the first period. 10 seconds on the shot clock. 5 points the difference. 22 Perth, 17 Devils. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Scott takes the bow piece, gives it to Adams. Back to
Nice pass from Spider Adams.
No call. It's a charging foul. Offensive foul called on Smith.
Good call.
Stewart stationary.
Right there for days.
Into the last 15 seconds of the first period. Here comes Trahere. Perth 22, Devils 17. 10 seconds of play remaining before quarter time. Trahere. Shot clock will beat them. That's the hooter. Quarter time in the scrap at the DEC. Visitors Perth lead the hometown heroes Devils by 22 points to 17 for the Wildcats. Major point scorers, 8 to Crawford and 9 to Lichty. And for the Devils, Scott has 6 and Roberts 5. Quarter time, Wildcats 22, Devils 17.
I've stolen a nuclear weapon.
Springfield's most sinister citizen is back.
Sideshow Bob!
And his campaign of terror has only just begun. A brand new episode. Saturday nights are going on at 6:30 on all new Simpsons. Then at 7,
Howard?
Karen,
the rednecks become green with
I
envy.
have never been jealous. Not even when my dad finished the 5th grade a year before I did.
The Sun God of the South in a brand new series, The Jeff Foxworthy Show, 7 o'clock tonight following The Simpsons.
Can you see? Can you see it's new? Can you see? Can you see it's new? Can you see it's new?
It's new you.
Can you see it's new?
It's new you.
Introducing Chicken Treat's new Chicken and Pasta Neapolitana Family Pack. A whole barbecue chicken, a family serve of our finest pasta Neapolitana and delicious garlic bread. Perfecto, but only at Chicken Treat.
This month, Ian Diffin will expertly correct your wheel alignment for only $25. Using the unique Servex laser light equipment, Ian Diffin's highly trained technicians can correct your alignment with exceptional accuracy in less than 30 minutes for only $25.
Well, I'm enjoying this, Wayne McDaniel. 5 points the difference. Perth going in as warm favourites, I feel sure.
Yes. Big James Crawford with a quick jump on the tip. And the Devils really in that first quarter beaten convincingly with transition from the Wildcats. In the half-court game, they're more than competitive. It's been the Wildcats' ability to get easy baskets that's hurt Hobart.
Brett, early possession.
Here
the
we see
turnover.
another transition.
Lichty.
Hops! Holy mackerel!
How about this fellow?
White man can jump.
Looks the goods.
He looks legit.
7 points the difference, and maybe, just maybe, we are seeing one of the reasons why the Wildcats, as we see the attempted alley-oop from Adams go unstuck, be not just a force, but such a deep, potent unit as Vlahov makes the two.
Nice power move from Vlahov, and really, they've created a dynasty over in WA, haven't they? Just so much talent and depth and money.
Early timeout called by the Devils at the start of the second period, 26-17. Perth doing well. And let's talk about the depth over there, all right, with Ricky Grace and Scott Fisher, the two imports. And of course, their papers have come through, and it opens up the possibilities of two further imports as coach Adrian Hurley has a chat. Is this the way we're headed? Is this what you should see happening with teams taking advantage of the way in which the basketball setup exists?
Well, I'd imagine that a lot of teams around the NBL will take a look and see how Perth finish up this year with so many American-born players. Now, see, a lot of coaches would balk at that and say, well, the standard of the Australian basketball scene now is such that we can more than compete with the American imports in terms of just the qualities. You look at the Sam McKinnons, the David Stiffs, the Simon Dwights, those sort of players. So it'll be interesting to see how they gel and how Perth really use their abundance of American talent, because they've got a lot of good Australian talent.
But isn't it all about winning?
I think it is. When you've got such a high-profile, high-budgeted program such as Perth, it's a lot of pressure on those guys to win.
Very true. Australians proving they can stand tall at international level. Perth studded with superstars. Vlahov makes it a 10-point ball game. He drew the foul in putting the two down, so it's 27-17. Vlahov 3 points. Lichty's on fire with 11. Crawford 8. Two major point scorers for Perth. For the Devils, Scott 6 and Roberts 5. Brenton.
You see all the passing lanes being denied by Perth. Hobart really having to work hard offensively here.
Now Stiff.
Nice pass inside. Oh, it's unfortunate.
Smith groans the look of anger which it didn't drop. There's Trahere.
Big three.
That did drop.
Beautiful shooter. Nice stroke. Fundamentally sound. Heaps of time to get the feet set, and it was down before he shot it.
8-zip in the first minute and a half of this second period. Smith.
Look at the pressure Smitty's under.
Black number 15.
Perth rolling. Nash you'll see on screen. On court number 4 for the Devils. He and Brenton verbal. Relaxed. Adrian Hurley sits down in the foreground. He's got nothing to reason about other than, hey, we've started really well.
There we see again Lichty with his hands on the pass. Amazing anticipation.
Here's Scott. Brenton.
Nice drive, Timmy.
Oh, reject from James Crawford. Flying high, slaps it away. Now it's Trahere's turn for some ball.
He's 37 years old, Pete.
Nash puts the hands in. Brenton works it back. 13 points the difference. Those Wildcats in front by 1-3 and playing well. Brenton. Now Nash. Now Adams.
Looking for the lob to Stiffy inside. And there again, JC wanted that one.
Goaltending call, buckets count.
But even though he goaltended that and Hobart get the 2, the intimidation factor has risen.
All of a sudden the body appears from nowhere.
The Devils will think about all those buckets, attempted inside shots now with JC climbing the ladder.
11 points the difference. Under 10 to go, second period. Crawford hurting from one end, not quite from the other. Scott finds Nash.
Devils really getting absolutely nothing inside on the block. Can't really get Stiffy off inside, and because they're being denied so much on the perimeter, it's creating havoc for their offense.
Huge defensive job being done by the Wildcats as Brenton off balance.
That's a tough shot.
Ball there. Adams in for the foul. Vlahov has to toss it to the ref, and we'll go back to search for and gather the ball. 30-19, 9.5 to go. Wildcats rebounding double Devils.
Yeah, 12-6, and we see the fact that that is fueled their transition game.
Hit the boards off and running.
Indeed.
11 points the difference. 9 minutes to go, second period. The Derwent Entertainment Centre. Vlahov.
Pass.
Assist from Trehair. And that's as big a lead as we've had in this game so far. 13 points the difference.
Very much a danger period now, Peter.
Brenton turned it
See
over.
another turnover from Hobart.
10 turnovers to 9.
Yeah.
Here come the Wildcats. Trehair. It's Vlahov. Roberts out there. Some space. Lichty. All there. Nash. Now Brenton. 8.5 to go. 13 points the difference.
Yeah, we can expect to see some aired shots in this contest tonight. I mean, hasn't been a lot of basketball played by a lot of these guys over the last month, so.
Stiff pass. I think Brenton was the target, but he wasn't mobile enough.
Yeah, another arid pass. It's tough. And Hobart had that added disadvantage of not being able, even though they played a couple of times, of not being able to continually stay sharp over the break. Whereas in WA, they probably got quality competitions that, you know, a lot of the guys can play every week. And makes a big difference when you're coming back off a layoff.
32 to 19, 13 points the difference. Vlahov missed it. Crawford almost tipped it in. Nash gets it. Fisher down and injured. Fisher, as the floor wiper, shows no feeling whatsoever and wipes the sweat around Scott Fisher, who still ponders, and Adrian Hurley points. Who cares about Scott Fisher? Come on, help him up. Come on, great Scott, come on.
That's a big fish. I caught a biggie fish.
And he is the worse for wear.
Poor fella.
Scott Fisher.
Geez, he's played some basketball over the last few weeks.
Come on, spare a thought for the injured Boomer. They've had a fair bit of court time for the Boomers in their campaign in Atlanta.
Had a great tournament.
And he gingerly limps from the court. Very caring crowd. Don't like to see that happen to anybody. Let's hope he's all right. Going straight to the rooms, that's not good. We're going to see Hansen come back on. The lonely figure of Scott Fisher. He heads for some treatment, and the Devils will bring the ball back in. We talk about the depth of the Wildcats, who lead by 13. Fisher off the scene for what could be the whole game. Adding further pressure to what is a star-studded lineup. Roberts, double teamed.
Yeah. Really closing down that inside game of Hobart so far in this first half.
Neat dish from Scott to Nash. Now to the unmarked Cole, who's on.
Nice shot. Nice spot up from young Aaron Cole.
Ten points the difference. Vlahov back out to Trehair. Back out to Vlahov. Grace. He's double teamed.
Nice hands. Attempted hands from Scott.
Trehair.
Nice rebound
by the captain. Crowd starting to get warm on a frosty day, a winter's day. Rain, squalls, snow on the top of Mount Wellington, and a hot basketball game. What more could you want in the middle of August? You could want Ricky Grace in there for a helping hand. Arms walking, settle.
Oh my!
Don't be silly. Eddie Crouch having some heated words to say to Cole. Aaron Cole wanted to be involved. Still the finger pointing being done by the ref. Adrian Hurley is saying to Andrew Vlahov, cool it. Of course, Andrew Vlahov's best recollections of the Olympic Games were a confrontation with big Karl Malone.
He's keen.
Dream team player.
He's always keen, though. He won't back down, big Andrew Vlahov. Premier forward in Australian basketball.
The heat is on. 10 points the difference. Wildcats lead, deserve to be in front. Trehair to Vlahov, who hopes to hit a three.
Uh-oh.
Here's Cole.
We've seen some air balls in this first half, haven't we, Peter? 5 of them?
But at least that many, I'd reckon.
Amazing.
Scott. Hasn't been wide open for a shot. There's Roberts.
Again, the double team. And the errant pass leads to another transition bucket for the Wildcats.
Trahere makes the layup. 12 the difference.
Devils' 14th turnover so far in this first half.
Noise from the Wildcats bench indicates pretty pleased so far. It's Nash. Now stiff. 34-22. 12 points the difference. Stiff on the baseline. Passes
Nice
Roberts.
pass.
Where do you go? Nowhere. Jansen strips him of the ball. Oh, Stiff almost did the intercepting. Couldn't quite grab it. Grace fancy.
Oh, that was so clever. The affinity these guys have amongst each other. Ricky knew that Andrew was going to go after that, and he didn't even think about it. That's just the amazing tightness these guys have, having won the championships, been there, done that.
14 points the difference. 5 minutes, 25 seconds to go in the second period. Wildcats in good control. Cole for the Devils. There's Nash. Where's the help? There's Scott, who gets rid of Trahere and lines up on the 30-second buzzer. Cole, yes, sir.
Nice move. Nice offensive rebound from young Aaron Cole. It's created some fire out there so far for Hobart. They desperately need it.
Timeout.
Timeout called here at the DEC. 24-36. How about Cole? Have a look at him.
Nice wrestling from Andrew Vlaha. That was strong. You can see why he spends so much time in the weight room now.
36-24. 5 minutes and 9 seconds remaining second period.
He's half man, half god. But is he any match for the warrior princess?
I'm Xena.
She's the wildest.
She's a monster.
Bloodthirstiest. Temptress of the ancient world.
The only warrior I've seen who's as magnificent as you are is Hercules.
She's tearing a friendship apart.
I think you better turn around and go home now, Hercules.
Turning lifelong friends into mortal enemies.
Can you really put me in your life before Hercules?
Now, love is a battlefield.
Kill him, yours.
Hercules, 7:30 tonight. BMW drivers expect their tires to let them safely use every drop of the exhilarating performance that has been engineered into their car. That's why BMW owners internationally are changing to Maxxis. Maxxis, exclusively available from Ian Diffin World of Tires and Mufflers.
It's Mac time.
It's Mac time in Australia.
It's Mac time. It's Mac time now. It's Mac time. It's Mac time. Everyone around the world keeps saying the world. It's why everyone around the world is saying it's Mac time. Everyone around the world keeps saying the world. It's why everyone around the world is saying.
Can you see? Can you see it's new? Can you see? Can you see it's new? Can you see it's new?
It's new. It's new, you.
Can you see it's new?
It's new. It's new, you. Stop me if I make a complete idiot of myself.
No, you cute. I'm John Travolta.
We lie all the time.
Love wins over everything else.
The band is called Bush. The album is 16 stone. It's sold over 4 million copies. This is big. This is Bush. Featuring the smash Glycerine and Everything Zen. 16 stone with a bonus 5-track CD and the new single Come Down. 16 stone. Don't beat around. Get Bush.
Yeah, we see the transition baskets really hurting Hobart with the Wildcats moving out to a 51% clip. That's amazing. Devils, lots of turnovers in that first half, 38%. And a lot of that due to the denying on the perimeter that the Wildcats are displaying.
Good shot too. A big crowd here at the DEC. Patrons locally supporting the Devils as they not only try and stay in touch in this competition for 1996, they look to the future. As Crawford goes for a walk, says to the ref, "You are joking." He probably didn't say that, but that's what he meant. Nash. There's Scott. 12 the difference, under 5 minutes of play remaining before half-time. But at half-time, sit tight. Anthony Stewart talks to us, the former Devil, now Super Cat.
Nice move. That was an NBA-type move from JR. Power plus.
Margin back to 10. Here's Crawford.
One of the few times JR went one-on-one against a player in the paint, too.
Lichty lost it.
Nice defense from Stiffy.
Stiff's going to go and give Scott some assistance. Now put it up from the baseline. No, he goes for
great pass. The captain leading by example. Unselfish. Nice court vision from David Stiff.
Slap your hands, Hobartians. Stewart on the roll, out to Lichty. 8 the difference, 4 minutes to go. Stewart makes it 3.
Again, another wide open perimeter jump shot. Devils really not rotating effectively on the perimeter. And Aaron Trahair and now Anthony Stewart. Don't let him start heating up.
Well, if you want to make the crowd be quiet, you shoot a 3 if you're an opposition player. If you want to make them get involved, your own hometown hero makes a bucket. 9 the difference.
Hustle, David Stiff.
Good hand, Scott. Almost stripped Stewart of the ball.
Another open perimeter player is Ricky Grace.
Oh, he loved it out there too, alone, unattended.
And we saw the air balls earlier, but now these players are professionals and they will heat up, and that's what's happening now.
12 points the difference. Wildcats lead by 12.
Nice pass. Great cut from Mark Maz. That's his pet play. Sets a screen at the top and then just rolls to the basket. Easy layup.
Nash half a dozen points, Scott 8, Robert 7. For the Wildcats, 11 to Lichty, 8 Trahair, 8 Crawford. Timeout called, 3.5 to go before half-time. Wildcats a long way from home. Lead by 1-0. They're 42, Devils are 32. Dr. Adrian Hurley, talk to our viewers right around Australia, the coach of the Perth Wildcats.
Slash post entry, we backdoor this guy, run another guy over, just run our normal high post flash, all right? Double see what it says. If they're in zone, it won't hurt us. If they're in man, it won't hurt us. All right, get the high post entry. Like defensively, what's happening down here, they're getting back to getting layups again. Again, what it is though, with saying Stewie, when they make that pass to there, or vice versa from there, your other guys who are up on your men over here aren't jumping off. Yeah. You got it. I know you're getting up and deny, but now you're hugging your men. So this
He had that there though.
yeah, all they're doing is making a pass and making a cut and just throwing it over the top of you.
No, he passed there and the point's going over the top, and this guy's coming in the back.
Rick got caught on a back
switch. This guy just rolled it back.
Get up and put them out of what they want to do.
Everyone had to go in that timeout, didn't they? Andrew Vlaha, assistant coach.
Oh, look, they've all got experience and they've all got their $2 worth, and if it all is for the end result, which is a big W, who cares, I suppose? Grace carries it over half court. 10 points the difference into the last 3 minutes of the second quarter. Jensen turned over by Roberts. Big JR put the mid up, effective. Scott. Devils will want to keep it under double figures before we break at half-time. Nash having an impact on the game. 3 from 4 from the field.
Nice
Roberts.
pass. Unfortunate.
Grace hacked by Adams, an ugly foul.
Oh, my.
Yeah, Scott's having a talk to Adams. What would he be saying, Wayne?
Probably about the pass or either that or going to the defensive rebounds. Big Spider. He's got to play physical. He's really, I mean, in a game like this, it's so emotional, and the Wildcats know they've got to beat up on Hobart. A player like Spider Adams has really got to make his presence felt out there.
Hanson distributes from the three-point line, top of the key. Grace. Crawford guarded by Adams. They lock arms. They don't like each other. That's all right. They're playing within the rules. Stewart Attempts the jump shot, hands there, eventually it tips to Scott.
Nice defense from Aaron Cole.
10 the difference, 2 minutes 15 seconds of play remaining. First half. Roberts and Scott. Scott, still no room. 8 points for the evening. Shot clock to 10 seconds. Ricky Grace.
Look for Scott to go one-on-one against Amazing Grace.
Puts
nice
it up.
Crossover. Beautiful.
And how often when you've made that comment about the crossovers, Wayne, even at clinics when the experienced players are teaching the kids, that's one of the moves they tell them about. Right
that is the move. Yeah.
Gavin van der Putten, number 50, on court for the Wildcats.
Quality young big man.
Grace. Oh, to Jensen as Roberts was too high. And whilst Roberts was airborne, he had to wait until Jensen was there.
I thought Pete Hansen needed a transfer on that move. Let's watch the feet. Ooh, close to a travel. Still, he's on the line.
Hansen. Makes it. Pete Hansen. Liking his style. Enjoying himself as Nash's double team. Puts it on the floor for Adams, who went for Roberts.
Geez, amazing defensive pressure.
Now Stewart double teamed. Perth ball. 45-34, minute 20 to go before half-time.
And Jerome Scott yells out, let's quit throwing the ball away. Indeed.
Grace walks it into territory that belongs to the Wildcats, and they belong to an 11-point lead.
16 turnovers so far, Peter, in the first half for Hobart.
Adams in strife with fouls, takes the mouth guard out. Ref says, come on, settle, fellas. Hansen was infringed, and Adams is arguing vehemently. Has he got reasons to?
Eddie Crouch just said, I wouldn't start talking, and we're ready to blow the whistle left, right, and center.
Hansen misses. 11 the difference. Minute 4 to go. Misses with both.
Brick City. Never been known as a shooter, Pete Hansen. Just a hard-working, banging type of a player.
Scott. Now Roberts. Scott to do the screening, trying to give Roberts some room.
There's a double.
Now Roberts. Roberts dishes off to Adams.
Yeah.
Now Roberts.
Nice pass. Good offense. That was good offense from Hobart because they didn't panic, even though they were under, as a crowd love it here at the deck. The dome glistens from Roberts. Spider made the nice pass, kept his composure. JR inside one-on-one. There's not too many players in the league that can stop him one-on-one inside that paint area.
Roberts, the sweat absolutely pouring off the body. He's a workhorse, all right. JR. 8 points the difference. Billy Tomlinson ready to chew more gum and talk to his charges at half-time.
Good body, Ross, guys.
8 the difference.
Yeah, when you do.
Grace, the class act. He's got some friends in that category. Stewart. Hansen cuts the key. Van der Putten there. He's a tall man on the spin on the baseline.
Good defense from Roberts.
Roberts gets it. 15 seconds to go before half-time. Scott checks the clock out. 10 seconds left. 8 points the difference. Scott on the drive.
Beautiful move. Ricky Grace was trying to direct traffic defensively, and meanwhile, Jerome Scott said, see ya!
6 points the difference, 45-39.
Look at this. Bye-bye.
All class. There's Blahov, there's Roberts. Blahov to bring it back. Under 6 seconds of play remaining. The Wildcats with the last shot before half-time. Pass to Trahere for 3. Not quite. Van der Putten turned it over. There's the siren for half-time. In a game that tightened up in the last few minutes. Half-time scores the Wildcats 45. Lead the Devils 39. For the Wildcats, 11 points to Lichty, 8 to Crawford, 8 to Trahere, 5 to Stewart. For the Devils, Scott 12, Roberts 10, and Nash 6. Half-time at the DEC. The visitors from Western Australia, the Perth Wildcats 45, lead the Tassie Devils 39.
Paris, the city of lovers.
Take me shopping.
The city of passion.
Back off, Catwoman.
But could this be the last city they'll ever see? The Nanny, 6:30 Sunday.
You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move woman, you're nice, sweet, fantastic. Move up on a bit, yes, you move it. Funny woman, you're nice, sweet, fantastic. Reach up on a bit, move a big Titanic. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it.
The Mitsubishi Challenge is proudly sponsored by Mitsubishi Motors.
Introducing Chicken Treat's new Chicken and Pasta Neapolitana Family Pack. A whole barbecue chicken, a family serve of our finest pasta Neapolitana and delicious garlic bread. Perfecto, but only at Chicken Treat.
This month, Ian Diffin will expertly correct your wheel alignment for only $25. Using the unique Servex laser light equipment, Ian Diffin's highly trained technicians can correct your alignment with exceptional accuracy in less than 30 minutes for only $25.
100% Hits Volume 20. 18 original tracks featuring Mark Morrison, Tupac, China Phillips, Space Hop, Gina G. Plus there's Everclear, The Cure and Ace of Base, Joan Osborne, and Babylon Zoo. All on 100% Hits Volume 20. What a score!
Stop me if I make a complete idiot of myself.
No, you're cute. I'm John Travolta.
You lie all the time.
Love wins over everything else.
Back fresh from Atlanta, Olympic champs Andrew Vlahoff and Scott Fisher joined the rest of the Wildcats in a heart-thumping, slam-dunking non-stop showdown with Southeast Melbourne Magic. Catch all the blockbuster action 8:30 tonight on 10.
39-45. Western Australia. Hope you're enjoying our coverage. This match at the Derwent Entertainment Centre. All Devils home games played at the centre, which holds around 4,500 people, and in the last few home games the Devils have played before packed houses, which is helping their cause, and the cause is to stay in the competition. Some fairly testing times lie ahead. On the fast breaker here.
Look out.
Not quite. Follow up there from Lichty is superb for two.
Fill in the gaps. Great athlete.
13 points for Lichty, 8 points the difference. Good start to the second half by the Wildcats, who come into this game sitting in 4th place on the NBL table. The Devils 2 away from a top 8 bracket. Went down fighting last week, would need to win this game. Roberts driving in.
Nice move. Bad luck. And we see when Hobart, Jerome Scott comes off those picks on the top of the key. For Hobart, he really has to come off a lot harder if he's going to have any effect and create the mismatch.
Stiff.
Nice move.
47-41, 6 the difference. Grace and Vlahoff combined. Trahere. Gee, off screen, Robertson, Crawford locking arms. Intense from both teams. And Grace finds some
easy
room.
as you like. You see Trahere just back the ball off and create the space necessary for that back door to come off.
Back to an 8-point ball game. Roberts on the turn. Rips the pass out to Stiff. Lost it. Vlahoff. There's Crawford.
Year after year after year, James Crawford delivers.
Back to a 10-point ball game. Scott for the Devils. Carts it over half court. Jerome Scott, leading point scorer for the home team, has 12. Roberts has 10. For Perth, Lichty 13, Crawford 10. Roberts, shot clock to 10 seconds, puts up the jumper. Rims out, he grabs his own rebound. Now there's Brenton, a 3-point specialist. Feigns, dishes out to Scott. Scott almost stripped of it. Finds Stiff on the baseline. Trahere climbs high, off balance. Put away a poor pass. Scott.
Straight up, dude.
Nash tries to tip it in.
Good effort, Mark Nash.
Kids are active. They love it out here. 8 points the difference. Big man, Big Crawford.
Nice. Oh, was that absolutely delicious? Coming from the opposite side, Adrian Hurley likes it. Watch this. Coming from the opposite side, he goes with the left. That was special. Poor defense from Hobart, too.
We're seeing a very smart unit here.
He is not moving in with us.
You can't choose your family.
He's here and he wants to be a part of our lives. Yeah, I know who you are.
You can't always do what's right.
We still have 6 months. Yeah, that'll hurt that much more when you leave.
But in a world that doesn't always make sense,
I think it feels right that we should be friends.
some forgive,
What if something happens before we really get a chance to love him?
some forget,
Why don't you just go to the cemetery and spit on Mom's grave?
and some just never learn. Party of 5, 7:30 Sunday.
Everybody's going out, everybody's going out. Everyone around the world keeps saying it's back time. Everyone around the world keeps saying it's back time. Everyone around the world keeps saying it's back time. Everyone around the world keeps saying it's back time now.
For 400 years, golf has been a gentleman's game. A game of tradition, etiquette, and above all, sportsmanship. Until now.
Y'all ready for this?
Meet Happy Gilmore. He was a hockey player.
That's my puck, baby! Don't you ever touch my puck!
Who was skating on thin ice. But when his grandma needed his help,
Mrs. Gilmore owes the IRS $270,000. We're gonna have to sell the house to someone else.
But she's an old lady. I mean, look at her. She's old.
he discovered a new talent.
The house is like 400 yards away. It's unbelievable.
Now he's going from the rinks
Step right up, folks. See if you can outdrive the amazing golf ball whacker guy.
to the links.
Hey, where you going with those clubs, punk? I'm your caddy.
He's gonna be on the tour. That's super.
He's got the swing. He's got the drive.
He shoots, he scores!
He's got the balls.
Oh, God, that hurt a little, but I'm all right.
Quite a large and economically diverse crowd here at Invitational. I guess it's the new tour sensation, Happy Gilmore.
Hey, if I saw myself in clothes like those, I'd have to kick my own ass.
And while he's trying to keep Granny out of the rest home,
I'm telling you, this place is perfect. You're gonna make friends in no time.
he's driving the game of golf.
Why didn't you just go home? That's your home. Are you too good for your home? Answer me.
Straight into the ground.
Hey, this guy sucks. All right, let's go.
Universal Pictures presents Adam Sandler
The price is wrong, Bob.
as golf's missing link, Happy Gilmore.
Go, come on. Let's go to work.
He was on hands and knees. And there's the big boss man of the Tassie Devils, Hank Petrusma, on left. And there's Bob Ansett, former president of the North Melbourne Football Club. Maybe he wants to buy the Devils.
Yeah, maybe Hank wants to try to drive his dollar a bit further.
Here we go, one shot only, guys.
Oh, isn't he a lover of sport, Bob Ansett? Hooked into the Kangaroos for years and years and years. I wonder what they're talking about. Oh, to be an earwig in that conversation as the third is made. It's 54-43, 11 points the difference. Scott for the Devils, who need to stay in touch. We heard Bill Tomlinson at the last time out pleading with the troops. Hang in there. It was a 6-point ball game at halftime. It's now out to 11 as Scott brings it back to 8. I was going to say, didn't Roberts? Tries again, makes
effort! Incredible effort from JR. Persistence and strength.
There's the muscular force of the man as Grace dishes off magnificently. Trahair's shot didn't find it. Roberts lost it. Got it. screeches to the referee. Come on, referee. Optics open. Eddie Crouch says, JR, cool it. I'll blow the whistle. You go.
Jonathan Roberts, the game's leading rebounder now with 7.
There's Scott. Now to Roberts. Will he try and spin and put it up? Tapped away from him by Vlahov.
Probably a bit too anxious that time. Probably waiting for the double to come, and he was one-on-one with Vlaha. Had he been a little bit more patient, would have been probably more effective in the end.
54-45. Billy scratches the noggin. Ricky carries the ball. This is Grace. Big crowd here at the DEC. Watching Perth oozing class. The Devils hanging in there. Grace off the glass, lays it in.
That's so much class, really. I mean, he goes off the glass better than any player in the league. And Perth really have gone back to their stock standard offensive set where they get that forward coming high and then get the backdoor slash.
56-45. Scott.
Nice move.
14 points for Jerome Scott, 7 from 13, 54% his field percentage. As Trahair carries it over half court, Hansen, now Vlahov. Roberts in the paint, doing the swatting, getting fouled. Third personal foul for JR.
Yeah, Stiffy sagging off Hansen really because he's not a threat out there. And paid the penalty because Hansen had a nice look pass into Vlaha.
Makes the first as balloons pop in the background. A colourful scene here this evening. Noisy DEC. Boomer, Andrew Vlahov. Makes 2 from 2. Out goes that margin to 11 points. 7 minutes and 55 seconds of play remaining in the third period. Handy little cushion for the Wildcats.
Look at the pressure Vlaha's got on Stiffy.
Stiffy gave it up to Roberts. Swatted away by Hansen. Now it's Scott on the three-point line. Stiff. Offensive foul call. You groaned. Tell me why you groaned.
Probably an Academy Award performance from Vlaha. He did have position, accentuated the positives there. Look at that. Yeah. Logie, Emmy, Academy Award, whatever you want. And the winner is?
The winner is the ball for the Wildcats. Here comes Trahair.
And Jerome Scott with an Academy Award performance. Incredible.
Indication from the ref about shoving away in the offensive zone. Did he do it?
Yeah. He accentuated it, but the push-off was definitely there.
7 minutes, 10 seconds of play remaining. Third period, Wildcats lead by 11. They've led for most of the night. Quarter time out by 5, half time out by 6, now by 11. Is Scott on the floor for Stiff. Oh, neat for Nash.
Another nice pass. David Stiff and Mark Nash working well inside the paint.
Nash a dozen points. Lichty gave it off to Grace. Trahair in front of the coaching bench. Lichty, look out. Nash the rebound. 9 points the difference. 6.5 to go.
Mark Nash, 6 rebounds so far in the game. And the Devils really have pegged back that rebounding tally. 24-16 now as we see Trahair creates another turnover for Hobart.
Easiest bucket of the night. 6 minutes, 28 seconds of play remaining. 11 points the difference. 60-49.
From the director of Mission Impossible
Get something in my eye.
Oh, here.
Oh, it hurts.
Let me have a look.
comes a suspense thriller with no equal.
This thing you're doing means everything to the old man.
They're twin brothers with a deadly secret.
He doesn't just take care of her. He studies her.
When it comes to evil, it runs in the family.
We got an anonymous tip he was buying babies.
Starring John Lithgow.
I'll take care of everything. I'll just be you for a while.
For the first time on television.
Tell me where Amy is!
But I don't know where she is.
Raising Cain, 8:30 Sunday.
Stop me if I'm like a complete idiot of myself.
No, you cute.
Give me a sign.
John Travolta.
Rely on time.
Love wins over everything else.
Feel the action. Feel the thrill. Feel the excitement. Feel the power of PlayStation. Sony PlayStation, now only $3.99. Get it, of course, from High Tech World. High Tech World, the future is here.
CDs for under $15. That's gotta be the best price. Choose from a huge range of artists at this unbelievably low price. There's nothing here but the best. Bon Jovi, The Police, John Mellencamp, Van Morrison, Cat Stevens, Lionel Richie, Salt and Pepper, Elton John, Supertramp, Joe Jackson, Suzanne Vega, Kiss. All these great artists and more on CD, available for a limited time for under $15. That's gotta be the best price.
It's Carpet Hotline's Mega Remnant Sale. There's truckloads of room-size remnants, many below cost. You won't buy cheaper anywhere in Perth. There's durable bedroom carpet from a low $8 a square metre. Heavy-duty games room carpet from just $12 a square metre. Elegant lounge room carpet from only $14 a square metre. Plus hundreds of vinyl remnants cheap. And look for the free laying sticker and grab a bargain. But you'll have to hurry. It's for 3 days only at Carpet Hotline, Abernathy Road, Belmont.
60-49, 11 points the difference.
Just to clarify, Peter, when we say weak side, we mean the side of the court that is away from the ball. The side of the court where the ball is being the strong side.
If you really want that, yeah,
Scott, the ball carrier for the Devils. On the dribble. Sitting outside the three-point line, Trahere guarding. Nash rendering assistance. Shot clock at 10 seconds. Shot selection crucial. Stiff. On the spin.
Nice move.
Didn't make it. Lichty almost got it. Finished up with it. Hansen. All the way.
It's too easy. Devils again very slow in transition. They paid the price.
On the move, looked confident, and it went.
Hansen's not the quickest player up and down the court, and when he can go all the way like that, you know guys are lagging in terms of getting back defensively.
5.5 to go, third period. The Devils, the necessity now is to extract something and do it fairly quickly. Brenton. 10 the difference. Lichty, double team, turnover, Brenton, Roberts. He'll give it off. His best mate Scott's there. So is Stiffy, so is Nash.
Pass again, David Stiff, good court vision. Kept his head up.
Hansen's third foul.
See David Stiff, nice control and then nice little one-handed bounce pass.
They work it well together, those two, Stiff and Smith.
Very
Stiff
well
and Nash.
Yeah.
Mark Nash.
Nash has had a very effective game so far. He's 5 of 7 from the field. It's 71%. He's got 6 rebounds and 3 assists.
Misses with the second. Adams gets it in the paint. Brenton.
Hands Stewie, yep.
Hands Stewie's the call. Refs can give us the verbals and we can pick them up. Hope you can at home. Brenton. Now to Nash. 9 points the difference. Under 5 to go. Third period. Roberts on the baseline.
Nice.
Oh, how about that? How about that?
From the 45, he breaks his man down like an organic compound and kisses it off the glass. Enjoy. That was an NBA move.
Something special about that maneuver. Lichty.
Gee. He elevated on that jump shot, claiming he got hit on the arm.
A wry smile from a very smart operator.
Amazing jump shot.
And the coach is a little angry, I'd say. Dr. Hurley doing the finger pointing. Devils bring it back. 10 points the difference. 4.5 to go before the third quarter ends. Brenton carts it over half court. Stewart with guarding. Adams. Smith on court. Sitting on the three-point line for Roberts. Oh, Roberts now back out to Smith. Smith. Oh, almost stripped of the ball. 5 seconds on the shot clock remaining for Brenton. Puts up the shot off balance. Almost all there. Vlahoff drags it down.
Desperation for Hobart. Tremendous defensive pressure from Perth.
Now Hansen put it in the face of Roberts, who affects the turnover. Scott. Just over 3.5 to go. 10 points the difference. Scott double teamed. On the floor for Roberts. Roberts with strength to Smith. Smith hacked from behind. Now Lichty's saying he tripped over his foot. Hard for us to tell. The foul call.
Blaha working hard defensively, double teaming inside and wanted the charge. Forgot his lines on that occasion.
Crawford comes on, brings the towel on too. Gets it to Hansen, who goes off and takes the towel with him. Not that he's going to throw the towel in. 10 the difference. 3.5 to go. Smidgen over. Devils from backcourt. Have Roberts. Gee. Adams went for him. Roberts puts up the shot. It falls. He makes the two and gets a chance for another one. Bodily contact as the kids have a ball doing their waving.
Nice hands from JR to take it away from Blaha, and then soft touch kisses it off the rim.
There's some confidence there from Spider Adams to put it in the direction of big JR. Impressive stats for the man who drips of sweat. Misses and almost got his own rebound. Lichty finds Grace. 8 the difference, 3.5 to go in the third quarter. Lichty. Now Vlahoff.
See, it's one-on-one inside. Now, see, that's the difference. When Perth get the ball down low to Vlaha and James Crawford, it's one-on-one. When Hobart get the ball inside, they're quickly double-teamed, and that's the difference in the defensive pressure.
Back to double figures in this ball game. Nash. Now Scott. Now Roberts. Crawford and Roberts exchanging glances, not all that warmly. Adams for a bomb. Roberts for a rebound. Under 3 to go. 10 points the difference in the third period. There's Roberts. Blahoff tries to swat it away from the big man. Ooh. Crawford. That'll hurt. Grace on the run.
Turnover number 20 for Hobart tonight.
Ouch.
Good hands, Mark Nash.
Adams gives it away to the ball carrier. Back out to Scott from Nash. 2.5 to go, third period. Roberts finds Nash, who finds Smith, who's on the three-point line. He thinks about shooting.
Thought about it too much.
Vocals from the crowd. Adams, almost turned it over.
Silly pass from Adams because really he had no spacing for that pass whatsoever. Spider Adams on screen.
There's Paul Crombie. He's on.
Here comes Mr. 3. Paul Crombie.
Smith out of the game temporarily. Scott calls for it, makes the 3, or does he? Not quite. Crawford leaping tall buildings in a single bound is James Crawford. Stewart on the baseline.
Nice fake from Stewie.
Now to Vlahoff. 2 minutes to go, third period. 10 the difference. Wildcats 67. Lead Devils 57. By 5 at quarter time, by 6 at half time, and now by 10. Close to three-quarter time, catch-up basketball. Lichty gets
there it is! Oh! Mama Jamma, the Alabama Slammer. Thank you. They set that up beautifully. Look at that. I say it again, Pete. He's 37 years old. Amazing.
His contribution tonight has been emphatic. James Crawford, 12 points. 3 big rebounds, a couple of slams that have electrified this gathering as Nash
nice move,
make the 2.
Bad luck, and Perth have numbers again on the break.
Here comes Lichty. There's Grace. There's Stewart. Gets some space.
Look at that, wide open.
Stiff with the rebound.
Nice rebound, David Stiff under pressure.
Minute 20 to go. Scott now carts it back for the Devils, who need to score. They're down by 12. Crombie. Adams. Back out to Crombie. Now Scott. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Scott finds Crombie. Now stiff inside Adams. Outside Crombie for 3.
Nice. Good ball movement from Hobart that time. Inside, outside, perimeter passing. It almost looked like no one wanted to take the shot. But Crombie will take a shot.
Bad shot first up, was it? 9 the difference into the last 50 seconds of this third quarter. Wildcats a long way from home. Enjoying the winter weather.
They're setting that same play up again where the guy screens for Grace out top and the guy way on the weak side, as we saw Crawford get the dunk. Stewie gets the 3.
12 points the difference into the last 30 seconds. Anthony Stewart 8 points, 2 3-pointers. 72-60. Crombie. Last hurrah in this term for the Devils, who were down by 12 points. 15 seconds remaining. Adams. Now to Scott. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Scott. It bounces out to Crombie. Bit of hurry. He tries. He's not successful.
Nice pass from Stiffy.
Scott.
Oh, bit too clever.
3-quarter time. Wildcats lead by 12 points as we stand by for the last stanza here at the DEC. Wildcats 72, Devils 60 for the Wildcats. 19 points to Lichty, 12 to Crawford, 11 to Vlahov, 10 to Trahere. For the Devils, 16 Roberts, 14 Scott, and 11 to Nash. 3-quarter time, the Wildcats 72 lead the Devils 60.
Val and Kelly have never played nice.
Your insidious little personality disorders can get you in big trouble.
But these two aren't playing anymore.
He's got a nasal problem. Did you give it to him?
I always saw you in the morning with nothing but Brandon's shirt.
90210, 7:30 Tuesday.
WA7s are liquidating all stock to make way for our new lines. Look at these crazy prices.
Buy a 12-cup non-stick muffin tray for $4.95 and receive a packet of Family Choice Muffin Mix free. Raggy Bear's assorted designs were $9.95, now $6.95. Save $3. Microwave chip maker now $5.95. Deluxe shower curtain with hooks worth $3.95, now $2.95. And biscuit storage box was $5.75, now $4.75.
At this stupid prices, stock won't last.
Just stop me if I'm like a complete idiot of myself.
No, you're cute. I'm John Travolta.
You lie all the time.
I've wings over everything else.
Feel the action. Feel the thrill. Feel the excitement. Feel the power of PlayStation. Sony PlayStation, now only $3.99. Get it, of course, from High Tech World. High Tech World, the future is here.
Back fresh from Atlanta, Olympic champs Andrew Vlahoff and Scott Fisher joined the rest of the Wildcats in a heart-thumping, slam-dunking, non-stop showdown with Southeast Melbourne Magic. Catch all the blockbuster action, 8:30 tonight on 10.
This is it. Oh, how crucial is this last quarter for the Tassie Devils? 7 wins, 11 losses. For the Wildcats, 11 wins, 5 losses. 12 points the difference. Wayne, your wealth of experience in playing in National Basketball League, you've played a couple of 100 games, plus more. Can you see the Devils finding something and turning around a game that looks as if it's belonged to Perth from very early in this match?
Yeah, there's not much in it, only 12 the difference, but really Perth have had the momentum well and truly for most of the match. And really the Devils have got to look after the ball fundamentally to have any chance.
It's Trahere. First bucket in the last period. And there's a tap on the noggin, the call against Nash.
Devils with 19 turnovers at three-quarter time. That's huge. and their transition, their ability to get back on defense has hurt them so much so far tonight. Wildcats shooting at 57% to Hobart's 46.
Trahere makes the first of 2. It's attempts anyway. 13 points the difference. Second one drops in at 60 to 74. And that's the biggest margin in the game at the start of this final term at the DEC before a crowd of between 4,500 to 5,000 people. Out of the key, Nash. Out of the key, Nash the call. Roberts has it. Now Smith back on court.
Immediately double team Jonathan Roberts inside. Nice pass.
How often do we see those two?
Yeah, great. How many assists has Stiffy got now? 5. He's only scored 2 points. He's got 5 assists and 4 rebounds.
Oh, good effort from Jerome Scott, almost. And Nash thought for a minute he was going to be called for a foul. So he spun around and was about to give Eddie Crouch a serve. But Eddie Crouch has given the travel call. So Mark Nash, put your teeth back in, off you go. That looked funny. Well, look at Mark. Oh, there he goes. He was fine. He was dandy. Devil's ball. 12 the difference. There's Roberts to Smith. Smith calling for motion, calling for movement, calling for Roberts on the baseline. Roberts stripped of it. Fortunately, Stiff's there to regroup.
Nice
oh, he looked for Nash again. He gets
hands.
Now it's Stiff. Now it's a no-look pass to Smith.
There's Stiffy inside against James Crawford. He really has to get off, I think, in this last quarter inside Big David Stiff.
74-62, 12 points the difference. Roberts! No. Grace to Trahere.
Beautiful.
Tip in from Hansen.
Again, the Devils burned effectively by transition from the Wildcats.
Margin is 14 points. Under 10 minutes of play remaining. Scott for the Devils. 14 points. Smith takes on Stewart.
Nash. He's had a nice game tonight, Mark Nash. Very, very effective. 7 of 11 from the field with 15 points and 7 rebounds and 3 assists.
Stewart. Crawford almost the rebound. Scott's on the run. Are we seeing the tempo lifted from the Devils? 12 points the difference. Perth, who came to conquer, have led all night. They have Fisher sitting out the game with what appears to be a wonky knee. Hope it's not serious. Scott makes it.
Nice move. One dribble. The kids love it. Nice pull-up from Jerome Scott.
Back to 10. Grace, 7 points. Leading point scorer Lichty for the Wildcats, 19. For the Devils, Scott, 16. Roberts, 16. Hansen and Stewart now on the baseline. Double team, puts it on the floor. Scott's got it.
Who's open? Oh, he missed an assignment there. Had
Grace.
2 players open.
Stewart for 3.
Stewie could have had a cup of coffee with milk and sugar on that one.
(79-66). Stewart hurts. 3 from 5, 60% from the 3-throw line. He's hit and hurt. 79-66, 13 the difference. 8 minutes, 20 seconds to go in the last quarter. Scott for the Devils, the D's. Off balance, makes not quite. Nash has done so well.
Had a super game tonight, Mark Nash.
8 rebounds. Leading rebounder with Jonathan Roberts. Big night. Top of the key, he finds Scott. Stiff on the floor for Smith. Yes, on the spin. Tip to... Oh, they're all trying for it. Scott takes on Crawford, wins it. Now Roberts. Thought about 3. Stiff goes for Smith. Quick there to get position is Grace. Roberts on the floor for Stiff. Now it's Smith. Lost it, got it. Tackled. Lost it. Who's going to grab it?
How many of errors on that one?
2-on-1. Grace to Stewart off the glass.
Gee, Hobart really out of sync offensively. Overpassing and players really not playing with confidence. offensively.
Good scrapping by the Wildcats in that exchange.
Hobart now with 22 turnovers in the match so far.
7.5 to go. Roberts screening for Scott, who puts it back to the big fella. Stiff tries to get away from Crawford, goes for Nash. Stewart affects the turnover. Away they go. Now there's an intentional foul called, unsportsmanlike. David Stiff gets called. 66 to 81, Stiff goes for a walk, and Stewart, who has hurt, he has hurt, Devils that is, dripping, sweat pouring. Stiff sits down and towels down. Smith sitting beside him. Anthony Stewart, 13 points, adds to that tally, throws the arms back and gets some ironic jeers.
Stewie liked that free throw. Didn't like that one though.
Some in the crowd a little nonplussed.
It's amazing, isn't it? The Devils have got to survive in 97, Pete, because Stewie wants to come back to Tasmania.
Oh, it's a touchy subject.
How about if everyone in Tasmania sent a letter to the Los Angeles Lakers and said, Shaq O'Neal, give us $1 million from your enormous contract, and the Devils are in the league forever.
Oh, I'll tell you what, it's I know for our viewers in Western Australia, the survival of this team now is on the line. We face the distinct possibility of not having a team in the national basketball competition. And even this afternoon, on this 9th day of August, the submission was put to those in the know, those with power in the NBL. Further work is being done off the scene in the hope that this team will be retained for next year.
I can feel it though, Pete. The Hobart Shaq Devils.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? Here comes Grace.
Off the glass.
And that's as good as it. 18 points the difference, 6.5 to play in a game where the Wildcats came with a mission because they were beaten by the Devils early in the season in Perth. Yeah, shock horror, it did happen. Crombie back on court. Goes for Scott. 6 minutes, 20 seconds of play remaining. A winning 18-point advantage held by Perth. The biggest lead of the game. Breton on the floor for Roberts. Adams doing the pushing in the paint. Takes possession. Puts up the shot. Trahere. Grace.
Wildcats off to the races. Look at the deception from Ricky. Looks one way and then delivers the next. And,
options were there, magnificent.
Court vision extraordinaire.
It's a 20-point ball game into the last 6 minutes. Crombie. Outside the three. Paul Crombie on the run. Adams looks for Brent. Ball pass. Grace gets it. Grace, hop along, Cassidy.
Where will he go?
All the way.
Look at that.
Blahov makes it.
Now we see the blowout in effect now because Hobart really don't have any options inside. I was going to say JR was the only one, and he's out of the game now. Beautiful reverse from Blaha. And it becomes a perimeter contest now for Hobart with Paul Crombie, Timmy Brenton in there. Not really any, Jerome Scott, of course, not really any potent inside forces offensively for Hobart. There's Lurch. You rang.
It's a stagnant scoreboard, too.
Stagnant haircut, too, from Big Roscoe.
4 minutes since the Devils last had the flashing biros of our stats men, Leon Walsh and Tony Scott, working. Full stop. 5.5 to go. It's a 22-point ball game by way of the Wildcats. It's Crombie with motion. Delivers to Scott. Scott puts up the shot. Won't fall.
24 turnovers now for Hobart, Peter.
That's a hurtful stat. 42 all up, but the Devils with 24 as opposed to the Wildcats 18. The Wildcats have kick-started in this final term, scoring 16 points to 6. And with 5 minutes of play remaining, they can gleefully look forward to hitting the three-figure mark. Lichty makes the three.
Class act. Look at the shoulders on him. Prototype basketball body. Big square shoulders. Great athlete.
Scott to Brenton. 91-66. A quarter of a century the difference. Adams attempts to get some room. Puts up the shot.
Really never looked like going in, did it, that shot?
Doherty's on court for Perth, number 10. He dragged down the rebound. Lichty's number 20, and Classy at that, 22 points. Trahere takes them on, passes back to Lichty, intercepted by Brenton. 4 minutes 10 to go, 91-66. All the way Wildcats. Brenton trying to find something. Scott, now Crombie. Now Brenton. Crombie for a three. Trahere gets the rebound. 3 minutes 50 seconds of play remaining. The Wildcats 91, lead the Devils 66. How's that for a pass to Grace?
Incredible vision. Ricky says, "Thank you, my brother." Beautiful bounce pass.
21 assists to the Wildcats as opposed to 12 to the Devils. Trahere, 6 assists.
Yeah, that's enormous. And that's that transition game we talked about, and Billy talked about it in one of the timeouts earlier. And it's just gotten worse and worse as the games wore on. Big Andrew.
Andrew Vlahoff sits down as we see Ricky Grace.
Amazing grace.
Sweet as you like. In it goes. 94-66. Grace sits down. Fears has been sapped out of this encounter.
It's become a young gun encounter now with the Devils and the Wildcats subbing in a lot of their young up-and-coming stars. Roberts inside one-on-one. One of the few times he's been one-on-one inside, he draws a foul.
3.5 to go, 94-66. Roberts to the line. Jonathan Roberts, 16 points. Only 2 away from double figures for rebounding. Solid work out tonight for the big man. $27 points the difference, 3.5 to go. Rebound attempt from Doherty, not successful. Roberts goes back in, flicks it back into court. Doherty takes it on the run, Trahere. Finds Lichty. Lichty was going for Stewart with a behind-the-back pass, but Stewart wasn't there.
Hanging on the three-point line, he would have had a layup if he kept coming through the lane.
Scott take it over half court into the last 3.5 minutes. 23, Anthony Stewart called for the foul. And there are some unforgiving supporters here who will jeer every time he's near the ball. And Coach Hurley hasn't got any worries at all in the last few minutes of this scrap. Scott, now Crombie. Shoots the call, he goes for Roberts instead. Roberts rips it out to Cole. Cole puts up the shot off the glass.
Nice shot, AC. He's played some effective minutes tonight as young Aaron Cole.
7 points. Enjoying himself out there.
Picked up a couple of rebounds.
3 from the field. A couple of rebounds too. Yeah, good night. Not good night like go away, but good night like yes, okay, well played. Stewart gets away from Roberts. Off the glass for 2.
He looked good on that move. Stewie.
16 points for Stewart. That score creeping up. 96-69. Figures are the same in different order.
JR continues to work hard. Gorillas in the mist.
Big Jonathan Roberts.
6 turnovers tonight from JR and 6 turnovers from David Stiff as well. Not a good stat.
2.5 to go, 96-69. Roberts makes the first. Percentage isn't too bad as he makes the second. 6 from 7, 6 from 8 that is now. 25 the difference, 2.5 to go. Roberts almost defected the steal. Pass from Doherty. Trahere, look at that for vision from Stewart. How's that for a basket?
Beautiful bounce pass. Look away. Hits the man in stride. Look at that. He's looking at the camera and then he's going to Stewie way on the other side.
Very smart operation. Perth Wildcats, hold your heads up. The side's about as good as you'll get in the NBL and they're going to be tough to beat. Scott misses. Lichty tried to grab it. Cole climbed through some problem areas. McKinnon got a rebound out to Crombie. Now Cole. 27 the difference. Under the 2-minute mark of the last quarter. Roberts for 3. Trahere got it in the face. Dragged it down well. Minute 50. That's all that's left. 27 the difference. The Beanstalk poked it in. Gavin van der Putten.
Frankenberry. That was a beautiful little turnaround jumper from the big fella. Top young player is Gavin.
213 centimetres tall. He's a big man. 100 plays 71. A minute and a half to go in the last quarter here at the Derwent Entertainment Centre. There's a big man again, off to Stewart. Stewart, not quite. Lichty. A bemused look from the bench. Trahere on the way to the glass. The reject is from Roberts. Goaltending is the call. 102 to 71. Roberts knew he was in the wrong. 102 to 71. Crombie. Now to Cole. Now to Crombie. Crowd want him to shoot for 3 because they love roaring.
That's why. He's a great shooter. He's got to be aggressive offensively. But again, we see the transition as Roscoe says no.
Scott says yes. 29 the difference. How do you get through that traffic? We can't. Is anyone going to help him up? Well, Trahere thought about it and thought, oh no, he's okay. He can get up himself. You're right. Have a look at it. There's Trahere.
There with you.
The floor wipers are there. They're doing a good job. They've zipped off court now. 47 seconds of play remaining. 102 to 73. Last seconds of this scrap. Scott on the baseline. Feigned the shot, then passed to Roberts, who went to Cole. Cole was fouled by Stewart. Chop, chop. Aaron Cole gets to the line. 102 to 73. Wildcats by 29 points. And the margin stays as is.
Good valuable minutes for young Aaron Cole now against a quality side.
Makes the next. 28 the difference. The last 30 seconds of this game here at the Derwent Entertainment Centre won in comprehensive fashion by the Wildcats from Perth. Stewart, as the clock ticks down, puts the ball on the floor and turns it over.
They wanted Lichty to go over the top for the slam, and he came through for the cut. Stewie, arid pass.
Scott now for the Devils. Perhaps their last play in their offensive area with Roberts in control at the 10-second mark of the last quarter now.
Crombie
makes it for 3. 77-102, 25 points the difference. Lichty, how appropriate. This man that has really impressed us this evening, game high 22 points, has time to give it off to Trahere. Trahere makes it 3.
Trahere from Mount Field.
Oh, huge throw.
Lurch.
On the siren, the effort is from McKinnon. It's not successful. And the final score will see the Wildcats 105 defeat the Devils 77 by 28 points. For the Wildcats, 22 points to Lichty, 18 Stewart, 17 Trahere. And for the Devils, 19 to Roberts and 16 to Scott. 15 points to Mark Nash. Final scores in the game. A victory to the Wildcats 105 to the Devils 77.
It's the show on everyone's lips. Sex Life.
Oh, yeah.
Thursday is phone sex.
Love you.
Phony sex is right. Discover the allure of makeup.
I prefer a natural look. Natural.
Would it surprise you to know that the natural look is actually probably half an hour's work in the morning?
Have a night out with the boys.
So what was it like out there? Oh, they were a little bit crazy.
Plus, achieving the big O and a whole lot more. Explore your sexuality with Sex Life. 8:30 Thursday on 10.
It's Carpet Hotline's Mega Remnant Sale. There's truckloads of room-size remnants, many below cost. You won't buy cheaper anywhere in Perth. There's durable bedroom carpet from a low $8 a square metre. Heavy-duty games room carpet from just $12 a square metre. Elegant lounge room carpet from only $14 a square metre. Plus hundreds of vinyl remnants cheap. And look for the free laying sticker and grab a bargain. But you'll have to hurry. It's for 3 days only at Carpet Hotline, Abernathy Road, Belmont.
Stop me if I make a complete idiot of myself.
No, you're cute. I'm John Travolta.
You lie all the time.
Love wins over everything else.
Todd Lichty, welcome to Tasmania. Well played tonight.
Thank you very much. We just tried to come out and get into them a little defensively. We felt like we were soft in Perth the first time around. I obviously wasn't in that game, but the team felt like we played soft, so we just tried to get out, deny some things defensively, and fortunately it worked out for us.
You were a pretty smart player. We haven't seen you before, and you've got a reasonably well-credentialed career in basketball in the States.
Yeah, I had a pretty good run in the States. I got to the NBA and played there a few seasons, and unfortunately had a pretty long, about a 3-year string of injuries, which kind of knocked me out of it, and I never really got back to where I was my rookie year. So I took a year off from basketball, about a year and a half now. I played in Italy before then, and I feel like I'm, pretty healthy right now.
And how tough to get a crack in a pretty professional unit over in Western Australia with a lot of depth.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think, the person that really got me in the door there was Andrew Vlahov, who he and I are real good friends from college. We played together, been friends ever since, and I think when Ricky and Scott were going to be eligible to play as Australians, he mentioned my name to the Wildcats and highly recommended me, and I think they just put a lot of trust in Andrew.
And Todd, is this what it's all about in the future now, with the depth in Australian basketball on the improve? Our bold showing in Atlanta in 4th place. There could be then more of an attractive proposition for players from the States to come out?
Well, I really think Australian basketball is underrated. I think last year with the win the Wildcats had over Real Madrid in Europe and the way the Boomers performed in Atlanta, I just feel it's underrated, and this league down here doesn't get enough credit, and I think it's really made some big strides in the last 4 or 5 years when I first came down and watched.
You're going to carry away some good memories of your first visit to Tasmania.
Yeah, it was a good win for us. We needed it. This is a real important weekend for us, so I'm not complaining.
Well played. Good to talk to you, and all the best for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
That's it from the Derwent Entertainment Centre. More travel for the Perth Wildcats. Tomorrow, they take on Southeast Melbourne Magic.
The Mitsubishi Challenge, proudly brought to you by Chicken Treat. I've got the taste. Coca-Cola, always jammin', always Coca-Cola. Ian Dippin, World of Tires. McDonald's, where it's Mac time. And Mitsubishi, please consider.
Bad boy Billy.
I didn't steal those pictures.
He's doing Alison over.
He set me up. Don't you get it?